Hi, this is Dylan and
Kevin.
from Sharpie, and you're listening to the Austin Young Show.
All right, welcome back to the Austin Young Show. I am joined by Kevin, the guitar player, and Dylan, the drum player for the awesome band Sharpie. Hey, how are you guys doing today? Thanks for coming in.
Good. What's going on, Austin?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. For a big man, small voice.
Yes.
But describe for Sharpie. Like, Sharpie's been around for a minute, but you just came into the band, Dylan. What is the sound? Because I've seen y'all play and I've listened to y'all. It's really fucking hard to nail down.
I would say it's a form of doom metal. Sometimes Chris likes to call it post metal.
Put that mic up a little closer. Sorry about that.
It's like doom metal, post metal. What do you think, Kevin?
I think we play a brand of rock and roll.
Doom rock and roll, maybe. Doom rock and roll.
Rock, maybe. It's hard to define.
I mean, some songs are totally heavy metal, and other songs are not quite as heavy, but still in the same vein. But I would say doom metal is what I like to call it.
And it's also like theatrical kind of in a way too. You guys bring your own elements into it. Like you've kind of got like a pantyhose Rorschach mask going on, and then the bass player,
Yes.
like is full on like Mudvayne Greg Tribbett style, tripped out red and black paint.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Like what does that like add to the show?
For me, it's a couple of different things. For our bass player, Moody Luna, she calls it clowning up. She likes to put on her clown makeup. I can't speak for her, but for me, it's a combination of just showmanship. I hate going to a show and they don't do anything. Like they just kind of walk on stage. There's no intro for the band. They're just kind of wearing NASCAR shirts and blue jeans, and there's just no showmanship whatsoever. And I can't stand that. It's a pet peeve of mine. But also personally for me, like, I find that wearing something like that gives me more freedom to get into like a flow state.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll be overthinking it. Like, oh man, am I making crazy drummer faces or people staring at me? But I always like to wear a costume of some sort in any project I'm in. But as for Nikki, has she ever mentioned what the story behind the clown makeup?
I don't really know the story other than she likes clowns. I think it's kind of like her mask in a way.
Yeah.
She posted something about it recently, but it's just kind of, I think like what you're saying, making her more comfortable to play on stage. People have approached her being scared because of the makeup and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Our bass player, Moody, people get kind of intimidated when they see her, but then they find out she's really nice.
Like, so would you say that with a lot of bands, like in natural life, we're all kind of awkward and shy? Would you say that like on stage, putting on the mask lets you kind of become like an alter ego in a way?
Definitely, but also at the same time, it's like it helps me be myself in like situations where I'd otherwise be socially awkward or shy. But it's both. It lets you be someone else, and it also lets you be your true self at the same time. It's really cathartic.
So, music-wise, how long have y'all been with Sharpie? How long have you, Kevin, been with Sharpie now?
Technically since like the last quarter of 2020, but like I've known Chris and Nikki since 2017ish or so.
Okay.
And I just joined the band. I want to guess and say about 9 months ago. Probably coming up on my year mark shortly.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I've known Chris and Nikki probably about the same as Kevin since 2017. My other band, Copper Thief, played a couple shows with Sharpie, and that's how I met him. And then a few years later, there was an opening, and I weaseled my way in.
Nice. So tell us, because like obviously the other two members couldn't be with us today. How did the band start? Like, do you know their story from that kind of perspective of how did Sharpie become Sharpie?
I'll share what I know, and then maybe Kevin has more insight because he's been around longer. But Sharpie's the brainchild of Chris Perez. He's not here today, and also his wife, Moody Luna, the bass player. They didn't make it in time, but Sharpie's definitely Chris's baby, and they've gone through different variations. Like I said, I was telling you earlier, there was 2 EPs and a full-length album before I ever joined. And the way the sound progresses, it's each album or each piece is completely different. But yeah, other than it, just I think Chris started it. I want to say 2015, or is it before that?
I want to say before that.
Before 2015.
I don't know the exact date.
Right. He got it off the ground a long time ago. I want to say maybe before I even ever joined Copper Thief.
So we are going back a hot minute.
Oh yeah. He's been working on Sharpie for a while, and it's his baby, and it goes through variations, and we're all excited to see what it turns into next.
So y'all are going into the studio, and this will be kind of some of the first recorded stuff that you're on, correct, Dylan?
This will definitely be the first recorded stuff that I'm on. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to this time around? Because obviously you want to put your own thing on it. So how do you think the music's going to change?
Well, first of all, I'm excited because we're going to be doing it at Session Works, which is Jeff Mount's home studio. I've always wanted to work with him. I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited because there's live videos of me in the band and a couple photos, but now I'm going to really leave my mark on this recording, and I love recording. Going to the studio is probably more fun to me than anything else, live shows, anything. I really love recording. Kevin, what can you say about how the last album was? You all got it done pretty quick, right?
Yeah, within 2 days or so. I don't know the hours, but to your point about how Dylan joining us and recording, I can say our music will probably sound heavier and more metal.
Fuck yeah.
than we already are. I don't know.
So I've got to ask this question. It's the blanket, stupid interview question. How did y'all get into music? Like, what influences do you bring to your playing?
Oh, man. Okay, so for me, my older brother, I learned everything about music that got me into music was from him. He showed me bands like Primus, Nine Inch Nails, all kinds of different stuff. And
Good brother.
Yes, very much so. And he had a drum set. He bought a drum kit from a pawn shop, and he just had no natural inclination for the instrument. And so I would go in there and start messing around, and he heard that I maybe did have a natural inclination for it, and he just gave me his drums one day because he was frustrated with it. And he turned into a car guy, and I stayed. I never looked back, and I've been playing drums for probably 25 years now. And my influences are experimental music. You remember my show, Savant Garde. It's all the more bizarre, the better.
We want it back.
Yes, eventually it's going to come back. But weird shit is what I like. What about you, Kevin?
I also like weird shit, but
it helps with the band that you're in, man.
How I started, man, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I used to be more into rap, and as far as the instrument goes, like guitar, I mean, growing up seeing like Jimi Hendrix and Slash and stuff on TV, I always thought was cool, and then maybe end of middle school, seeing more of like metal players and what they can do. I don't consider myself a shredder, but like just being able to, I don't know, do the doomy riffs and stuff. I think I'm more like a riff type of person. If you had to ask me my favorite like metal band or like the OG metal band, probably Black Sabbath did it.
Fuck yeah.
And I think one of my uncle-in-laws, he kind of got me into them when I was younger, so I think it just kind of spurred from there.
That's a pretty good wrap up on all the music. So, guys, you heard Alchemist at the start of this episode. Let's go to their next song, Three Witches. Do you guys want to say anything about this song before it goes?
Three Witches, this is one of my favorite ones to play live. The reason being, it's not like, there's nothing too complicated going on with it, so I can really get in that flow state I was talking about earlier. It's a good long song. It's one of Moody's favorites. What about you, Kevin?
I'm sorry that Ruth is currently harassing you in all shapes and forms.
I like it.
She is like a big blanket comfort therapy dog in some ways.
Three Witches, I would say, is probably our most like raw metal sound, really brash. You definitely see another side of Nikki with it. She'll tell you it's about her sisters.
Okay.
I don't know the full story.
Oh, well, I think when you guys get the new EP out, I'm going to have the full band back on to get that story. So, guys, this is Three Witches. Stick around. All right, welcome back to the Austin Young Show. That was Three Witches by Sharpie and a sponsor-related commercial that probably tried to sell you fucking Starbucks or a free trip to the Navy. Who knows? So at this point, I do want to ask y'all one question before I forget it in my ADD mind kind of thing.
Please.
Sharpie. Where does is it from a Sharpie? Like, is it from like cutting yourself? What is the name Sharpie?
My understanding is that I thought it was a Sharpie, like the marker, for the longest time.
That's what I did too. I was kind of like, okay.
And this is really embarrassing because I work in the industry. I'm a union stagehand, and I did not know this. There is a type of stage light. It's like I don't know if it's a brand or a type, but it's called a Sharpie. It's a kind of light. And so what Chris had told me is that it gives off this, a real different kind of light. And like just the other day I was working and I looked over and there's road cases that said Sharpie all over it. It was kind of trippy. But yeah, it's a kind of stage lighting for the entertainment industry. Do you know anything else about it?
That's the gist of it. That's the gist of it. I think he'd say it's something about the light can get like, I don't know. I don't know all the logistics of the lumens and whatever, but something like that, like way brighter than it looks like it could do. And it can move around and stuff, so maybe that applies to our shifting music or something. I don't know.
Well, you've got the shifting music. It's a stage light.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to play Haltom in January, the Haltom Metal Fest.
Yes, in January we're going to play the Haltom Metal Fest, which this year it's 2 days. And it's going to be fun. Haltom is one of our favorite places to play. Chaz Buchanan, who owns it, he's hooked us up many times. It's kind of like our second home, and we're looking forward to it. He's also there's 2 stages in there now. So there's a restaurant, an arcade, and a lounge, and a big giant theater stage, and then a side stage. There's all kinds of stuff to do. I wish it was closer to Deep Ellum, because Deep Ellum could use that, but yeah, we're stoked. Haltom is one of our favorite places to play. The sound system's amazing, free parking. So anytime we go back out there, it's a treat.
I do have to say, it's the funniest thing when I interview. So born and raised Chicago, and played in bands in high school, all that kind of stuff. It's funny to me because Texas is the only place I've lived where people are like, "There's free parking." I'm like, because we used to have to like lug our shit on the subway and like stuff. So I'm almost like, you spoiled bitches in your parking.
Yeah, I am a huge spoiled bitch. Like, because when you play a gig and the parking sucks, it's a nightmare. And the loading, unloading your car. If you play Trees, for example, I think now they have a designated area, but before it was a nightmare. Wits End was always a nightmare. There's no system or process set up for bands trying to unload or load in, and so it really sucks. But yeah,
well, there is, but it's kind of gotten lost in the ether. There is supposed to be a load in. I'm going to have to get a quote on this, but apparently there is a system in Deep Ellum now where certain venues have passes so that you can come park in front of the venue, unload, then you drive your car to a parking garage and then come back and do the load in. But
damn,
it's been, yeah.
How long? When did they start doing that?
Apparently it's been going on for 2 years now, and just no one's kind of enforcing it.
Man, it would have been nice if they'd started that in like the 90s or something.
Yeah, no shit. So what's it like playing so like small bar shows versus kind of like a festival style show? Like what's the difference for you and your audience?
What are your thoughts, Kevin?
Small shows, well, definitely more of an intimate vibe, and maybe people are a little closer.
Yeah.
And kind of more friendly and come talk to us. Festival, it seems like more camaraderie's happening with other bands, and louder cheering.